بینندگان گرامی تلویزیون ایران تیوی، با 16مین برنامه تلویزیونی بیبا در 14 جون 2003 به پایان دوره اول برنامه‌هایمان رسیدیم. عده زیادی از شما احتمالاً موفق به دیدن این برنامه‌ها نشدند و نظر به درخواست پخش مجدد مجموعه برنامه‌های دوره اول بران شدیم که این 15 برنامه را برای شما بینندگان گرامی باز پخش نماییم.
سلام، خوش آمدید به 12مین برنامه بیبا. از اونجایی که شاید تعدادی از بینندگان ارجمند ایران تیوی تا به حال برنامه‌های ما را ندیده باشن، اجازه می‌خواهم که توضیح مختصری درباره خودمان بدهم. من بابک امامیان، بنیانگذار British Iranian Business Association که به مختصر به خودمون ما بیبا میگیم و به فارسی میشه انجمن مدیران ایرانی مقیم انگلستان. بیبا پس از 9 سال فعالیت دائم در انگلستان به خوبی شناخته شده است. علت تهیه این برنامه معرفی بیبا به دوستان عزیز ما در آمریکا است، با امید آنکه این باعث گسترش روابط اقتصادی بین ایرانیان مقیم انگلستان و آمریکا بشود. خوش آمدید به برنامه امشب. از اونجایی که در بیبا ما همیشه گفتیم و دائما هم میگیم که مهمترین چیز در زندگی آموزش و تحصیل هست و تحصیل، پایان تحصیل از دانشگاه نیست، بلکه یک چیزی که دائم باید باشه و به قول اشعار فارسیمون ز گهواره تا گور دانش بجو. ما تعدادی از اعضای برجسته‌مون در بیبا از دنیای آکادمیا هستن و این افتخاری برای من که امشب یکی از دوستان بسیار خوبم، پروفسور عبدالله قبادیان که از روزهای اول بیبا با ما همکاری داشته در اینجا هستن که ما صحبت کنیم درباره اولا آموزش دائم و کسایی که ما در رشته‌های مختلف هستیم در هر سنی چطوری میتونیم این آموزش رو به کار ببریم برای اینکه در رشته‌های خودمون پیشرفت بکنیم و چطوری این باعث میشه این تحصیل بیشتر برای گسترش روابط اقتصادی بین ایرانیان مقیم انگلستان و آمریکا. من از ایشون خواهش کردم که امشب بیام و با ایشون یه صحبت کوتاهی داشته باشیم. من حالا میام به عبدالله، پروفسور عبدالله قبادیان.
خیلی ممنون بابک برای دعوتت.
خواهش میکنم. من نمیدونم، من خیلی وقت شما رو میشناسم، نه به شما میگم عبدالله یا بگم پروفسور قبادیان؟
نه، همون عبدالله.
عبدالله، اوکی. پروفسور قبادیان. اگه شما اول برای اینکه یه مقدار آشنا بشم با شما اهل کرمانشاه هستید نه؟
بله، کرمانشاه هست.
بعد در چه سنی شما اومدید انگلستان؟
16 سالم بود.
چرا اومدید اون وقت؟
آمدم اینجا درس بخونم. به خاطر اینکه تهران شلوغ می‌کردم، میرفتم اعتصابای پلی‌تکنیک. پدر و مادرم فکر کردم بهتره بیام اینجا که برام مشکل ایجاد نشه.
پس در 16 سالگی شما رو فرستادن شبان روزی در اینجا؟
بله. بانگی. ارشم هوم.
بعد اونجا هم که اومدن که دیگه شما اتفاقا بدترش بکنم شد، چون دیگه پدر و مادری رو سرشان نبود، آزادتر هم بودید نه؟
از یه نظر بدتر، از یه نظر بهتر.
اون بهتریش چی بود؟
سیاسی نبود.
آها. بدیش چی بود؟
بدیش این بود که میتونستم شبانه روزی فرار کنم برم شهر پاب و اینا.
خب شما که فرار کردین پس چطور موفق شدین که اینقدر توی مدارک مختلف بگیرید، اینقدر توی رشته‌های تحصیلی موفق بشید؟
درس و خوشگذرونی با هم خوب میرشن، با هم خوب میرن، زیاد فرقی ندارن با هم.
پس آدم نباید آدم خشکی باشه نه؟
آدم نباید آدم خشکی
باشه اینا. ولی من فکر کنم شما آدم فوق العاده باهوشی هم باشید.
نه فوق العاده نه، فکر نکنم.
آخه من فکر می‌کنم
کسایی دیگه باشن.
خب شما من 3 تا لیسانس، 2 تا دکترا، الان پروفسور هستید. این به خاطر چیه؟ مثلا کار زیاد. هوش چقدر بهش میدید؟
بعد هوش داشت ولی نه خیلی زیاد، بیشتر به کاره، سعی، کوشش، هدف داشتن در زندگی.
یک کسی که اینقدر با کوششه، اینقدر راحت میتونه مدارک مختلف بگیره اینا، چرا شما توی صنعت نرفتی و توی دنیای آکادمیک موندین؟ البته من میدونم شما الان با صنعت هم خیلی کمک، مشاوره صنعتی خیلی انجام میدید، ولی بیشتر وقتتون هستش و الان در دانشگاه شما Head of Marketing Department هستین نه؟
نه، Head of Research. برای اینکه آدم کنجکاوی هستم، بیشتر دوست داشتم چیز یاد بگیرم. خودت اول گفتی ز گهواره تا گور دانش بجو. به این خاطر تو اکادمیک میتونی همیشه میزان اون چیزی که میدونی بیشتر بکنی به خاطر کنجکاوی، به خاطر اینکه لذت می‌بردم از اینکه چیزای تازه پیدا بکنم، جدید پیدا بکنم، چالش چیزای جدید پیدا کردم، به این خاطر رفتم تو اکادمیک.
خب شما چطوری پروفسور شدید؟ یعنی من میتونم برم یکی لیسانس بگیره، فوق لیسانس بگیره، دکترا بگیره، چطوری پروفسور میشید؟
باید پابلیش بکنی، باید چیز علمی، بستگی به میزان علمی، اون چیزای علمی که داری پابلیش میکنی. بعد دانشگاه یک کمیته داره، این کمیته می نویسه به 6 تا 7 نفر دیگه که تو اون رشته هستن، اونا راجع به میزان علمیت میگن و اگر میزان علمیت به اندازه کافی باشه بهت لقب پروفسور.
I just want to know how these 6 people that award you this professorship.
No, it's not 6 people who award you professorship.
Who are they?
It's a committee. The committee consists of
Okay, who are these committees?
Oh, it's normally vice chancellor and a number of senior people from your own university, number of independent from other universities. And what they tend to do, they tend to get references, independent references.
So do you lobby them to give you a professorship?
You apply often for professorship, or sometimes they approach you and ask you if you want to put your name forward for professorship.
Can I buy a professorship?
No, you can't buy a professorship.
Why not?
Because it's not for sale.
But if I spend, I mean, I donate so much money to a university. What about in the United States?
No, you can't buy a professorship anywhere. Is a title. It is a title given to you for your contribution to knowledge. And if you don't make that contribution to knowledge, then you're not given a professorship.
Okay, I feel under obliged to call you a professor because you worked very hard.
Sure.
But others decide for me to call you a professor. Who are these people? I mean, how can I trust their judgment?
How can you trust their judgment? Well, they're your peers. They're my peers. And peers often take very great care that the title of professor is not given to people who are not worthy of the title. People who are professors guard the title very jealously. And therefore, they're very, very careful that the title is not given to other people who are not worthy of the title.
Okay, I know the razzmatazz that you have in academic world sometimes is even bigger than Hollywood. The way your reputation is so important and the awards you give each other for excellence.
This is very important, that's right.
Yes, you give that to each other.
Yes.
Right. But do we need this?
Do we need
these razzmatazz?
Well, it's a recognition. It's recognition of your... In academia, you've got 4 different groups. You've got lecturers, you've got senior lecturers, you've got readers, and you've got professors. A professor is a pinnacle of academic life, and is for recognition for your contribution to knowledge.
So when you became
enhancing understanding in your subject area.
So you haven't stopped. You say pinnacle of education, but you've never stopped now that you're a professor. You still continue on.
Yes, of course, because people who normally get to the top of any profession are driven. They're ambition people. They're driven by their desire to get to the top, and once you get to the top, you continue.
Okay. Now that you have this title, professorship,
sure.
What social responsibility does it carry with it?
A great deal of social responsibility.
Like what?
Well, you've got to look after people. You've got to develop other academics. I've got many younger academics who I help to get their PhDs. I help them to get publications and so on. So part of my time I spent is developing other academics.
Okay. Do you use your title to kind of get through other places where I can't get through? I mean, does your driving license says Professor Abdullah Qobadian? Do you use your title so you get better places in other places?
I personally don't know.
But it does help, yes?
It does help, yes.
And do you think that's right?
Well, why not? Why not? Why is it not? Why is it wrong?
No, I just want to know.
Yes, if you've got a title, you use the title to your best advantage.
Okay. Would you rather have a sir, a knighthood title like a Sir Abdullah Qobadian, or a Professor Abdullah Qobadian?
2 different titles. Knighthood is given for contribution to society for a variety of other reasons and so on. Professor is given for your contribution to knowledge, developing understanding and so on. So there are 2 different kind of titles, 2 different
and knowledge
purposes.
for good. Do you consider knowledge, say, for medicine has the same value of knowledge, say, in creating wealth?
Yes, knowledge is knowledge. They have different values, different utilities, but nevertheless, you know, if you're a professor of medicine, you're a professor of medicine. If you're a professor of management, you're a professor of management. You make people who are ill well. If you're a professor of medicine, if you're a professor of management, you help organizations grow. And
okay, what about the financial
wealth.
reward? Has it improved your financial reward that now you have this title?
To some extent, yes, because you know, if you work for organizations, they pay you a better rate, better daily rate, better consultancy rate.
So I just want to know the overall picture, and I'm going to move on to the next subject. This title you have, which
yes.
really you deserve it. I'm not taking anything away from you. You deserve it.
Well, that's very good of you to say.
No, honest to God. But does that make you an elite? Does that mean you are elite? You are different to us?
No, it doesn't make me elite.
No, your group. When you sit together, do you think you are different to us?
Well, no, I don't compare myself to you. I'm in a profession. Within my profession, I've risen to the top. You are in a different profession. You are a businessman. You aspire to be the best. No difference.
Okay, I can take that. Okay. Now, we come back to people who want to stay in academia or want to join academia. A lot of people don't want to do it because they think the financial rewards are too low. Mm-hmm. Eventually, your standard of living would be lower. What message do you have for them? What are the opportunities in education?
Well, I think in academia, if you're good at what you do, actually the financial rewards are quite good, because you've got to look at your earning not only in terms of the salary you get from university, but in terms of potential earnings from consultancy and from other activities and so on. And in academia, you can make a pretty good living, not purely from your salary, but from consultancy and from writing books, publishing books, royalties, and so on. So the rewards are quite good.
Okay, I believe one of your first consultancies was advising British government or Falkland government, yes. Which I always think of Falkland Islands. Still, I mean, it is part of British Empire.
But it's a separate government.
Yes, you advise them on manpower and training on management.
Yes.
So, I mean, how did they select you to advise the Falkland government on management and manpower?
Well, they thought I've got the right expertise. They approached me and they asked me if I would help them to help develop their management expertise, management competencies, and so on. And I felt it was an interesting assignment. It was an unusual country to go to, different kind of surrounding, etc. So I accepted the assignment.
So what, you flew on these military airplanes,
yes.
what, 22 hours flight?
About 18, 19 hours. I flew from Brize Norton to Ascension Island, and from Ascension Island to Falkland Island. So,
but how did these Falklanders, here they've been under occupation of Argentinians, and now they've been...
10 years before I arrived.
Sorry?
10 years before I arrived.
Okay, yeah, they were, and here suddenly they are so proud of Britishness, and here the person who's going to advise them on how to, on manpower and management, comes off the plane and he's a British Iranian. I mean, it must have been a culture shock to them. Abdullah Qobadian, going to the Falkland Islanders.
Well, if it was culture shock to them, they didn't show it. So they're very...
They never showed it.
Very, very good hosts.
Okay.
Excellent hosts, in fact.
Excellent hosts. And you're a very good person, but believe me, it must have been a shock to them. It wasn't a Smith or a Jones, but a Qobadian, you know. It's a
well, they knew before what they were going to get.
Oh, so
they were... Absolutely.
A few days of preparation.
Absolutely.
So how did
I actually met them in London. So I discussed with them the assignment, etc., etc. So I spoke to the governor of Falkland Island before he went back to Falkland about the assignment.
Oh, so they liked you before?
Sure, before, that's right. So it was a shock when they saw me off the plane.
This was Falkland Island.
Correct.
And then there was also this know-how fund, which was, it was
set up by Mrs. Thatcher. That's
Mrs.
right.
Thatcher government to help Eastern blocs, and you were heavily involved with that.
Of course, I was
developing
in
that. 2
different countries, in Poland and in Hungary, and I helped 2 universities, University of Łódź in Poland and University of Janos Pannonius University in Pécs, to reorganize themselves and to to have a different kind of education system.
So do you think you'll also have a role in Iraq now?
Well, if somebody comes and asks me, yes.
Yes.
Why
How
not?
much is your fee for organizing?
My fee? Well, I'm sure United States can afford to pay me. That's right.
Now, you are the head of the management and business
and management department. That's
business
right.
and management.
Correct.
Okay, tell me, how do we make money in United Kingdom? Serious money, I mean.
Serious money? But the only way you can really make serious money is to build a business and then sell it.
So you build a business?
And then you sell it.
Sell it.
So a very good example is NCP, National Car Parks, for example. People who built that business sold it for 800-900 million. And that's the only way you can make serious money.
How do we... Okay, you have a business.
Yes.
What scale does it have to be before you could really sell it to make a good business? What scale, what size?
Size is not the be-all, end-all. You can have a very small business, but if it's in high-tech business and it's a novel idea, then you may have only a few people who you employ, but people buy that idea, pay for the idea, and pay handsomely for the idea. Now, National Car Parks, they had about 150, 160 car parks when they sold their business. So it depends. The size is dependent on the type of business.
But National Car Park is the low-tech, isn't it?
Sure. So that is.
Is that where the money is, in low-tech?
Oh, in both. High-tech, low-tech. If you've got a good idea, good business model, doesn't matter whether it's high-tech or low-tech, if it works and you can convince other people that it works, people are willing to pay a premium for it. So the only way you can make serious money is by having a good business idea, developing that business idea, run it as a business, grow it a little bit, but not too large, and then sell it off.
Why not too large?
Because it's very difficult to go from one size to another size. So there's a lot of pain going from a small business to a large business. And often people who are entrepreneurs have got difficulty growing their businesses to very large sizes. So it's much better for them to sell it when still is in the incubator stage rather than try to grow it. Once you grow it, then you can keep it and make serious money.
So what you are saying is the journey of creating a business is totally different to a journey of expanding a business.
Very different. Different kind of expertise, different kind of aspiration, different kind of business philosophy, basically. And you can see that in the case of EasyJets, more serious entrepreneurs cannot actually run large organizations. They find it very difficult to run large organizations because their mindset is very different. And when you have a large organization, you have to have structures, you have to have decision-making processes, and so on. And that's often alien to entrepreneurs.
And what is this time scale between creating a business and selling? What would you say? 3, 5, 15, 20 years?
On average?
On average.
High-tech businesses, 2 or 3 years. Low-tech businesses, 5, 6, 10 years.
You mean within 10 years you could make a lot of money with a low-tech and with a high-tech within a couple of years?
If the idea is right, yes. I know many people have sold their businesses for large sums of money because the idea was good and people are willing to pay for the idea.
Now, you actually brought the subject of United States. You've been also lecturing in the United States, haven't you?
Yes.
What have you been lecturing on there?
Well, I worked in the United States on and off for a number of years. I worked in Pace University in New York.
Okay.
So I've taught on summer courses in Pace for a number of years, for three or 4 years.
One thing I have, which I want to bring in on, is that in the United States they like anything English, and they also really cherish the English education.
Yes.
And there are people like you who go on there and give lots of lectures. But to my knowledge, maybe my ignorance I should say, very few times you use these big microphones, you academia who have, of promoting British industries in the United States. And
I promote, obviously, first of all, British education in the United States, and then my own university. We get large number of students from the United States coming to Middlesex on an annual basis, studying here for 1 semester or 2 semesters, and that's quite a large number of American students. I think on average any year we have about 350 American students in variety of our courses, and so we actually market British education in the United States and market quite successfully.
Okay, so that's brilliant. That's very good news that you market British education. Why not add to it the dimension of British research or British industries?
Well, no. I think as far as research is concerned, again, we collaborate with many American academics. We jointly apply for funding both in the United States and USA. I have on a number of occasions applied for funding to a variety of United States government agencies, etc., with my American colleagues. So there is a large number of, high degree of collaboration between academics in terms of research. I think in terms of industry, I think it's slightly different in a sense that we help, for example, American students who come to this country. They come for a week. I arrange for them to go and visit many British companies, etc., etc. And that is one way of really putting British business and American business together. So this year, for example, a number of people came from a number of colleges in Boston area, and I helped them to visit BAE Systems and visit many other British companies. And obviously those kind of linkages would eventually help setting up businesses, setting up relationship with American businesses.
Okay, now you said that, and it's very impressive what you are doing. Now, in your words, as a business person and BIBA, how could we link? How could you help us to link with businesses in the United States?
Well, I think that the first thing is that you've got to create a win-win situation.
Win-win situation.
Win-win situation. So you really need to find out what it is that you can offer and what is it that United States businesses want. And once you know what you can offer and what they want, and you can create a win-win situation, then it's very easy to create cooperation and create business links. I think it's very difficult to say without any context how you can go about doing it. But the key thing about any kind of partnership is to create win-win.
So in your case, the win-win was you gave them British education.
Sure.
And you got the fees which you collected from them.
Yes.
Towards the university.
Yes.
So you had the money and they had the education.
Correct. That's right. So, the American students are very keen to obviously, we're now working in a global village, and therefore Americans like to know how, Europe operates, how businesses operate in Europe. So they're very keen to come and get British education, because that will enable them, give them added value in the job market back in United States. So they come here, they study for a semester, for 2 semesters, and that helps them find jobs, find better jobs, find better paid jobs in the United States. So it's win for them because it makes them more marketable. It's win for us because we obviously get full fees from the American students.
So you are saying Americans are not as isolated as we are believed?
Absolutely, they're not as isolated as they used to be, and obviously, actually I think things like Iraq has helped United States people become less isolated and have a much global view.
Well, on that happy note, I'd like to say thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
And I hope you continue your cooperation with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Excellent.
امیدوارم که از برنامه امشب لذت برده باشید. شب بخیر. شما را به خدا میسپارم. به امید دیدار.